Welcome back. And boy, I tell you, we're having a great show. Lots of good nuggets. So I hope you're staying with us. And if not, if you missed anything, go back and listen to it. So Rochelle, before the break, we were talking about teams. I'd love for you to continue that conversation around teams.
Well, a lot of us, when we began as entrepreneurs, we were one ship. But I found very quickly that you get depleted, and you sometimes can't tell your husband or your best friend or your mom because they're not in alignment with where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were saying, when you first start out, it's a really good idea to figure out where the other entrepreneurs are by networking, by on social media, asking for what you need. Because
Mm-hmm.
I found that so many people are like, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna do it myself. You don't win any buttons, ladies and gentlemen. You don't win anything. And as we're growing, those teams become our support structures. And we will have days that we hear no all day long. But tomorrow, we need to get up with a new attitude. Keep your mind on the end. What is the end? And I'll give you another little tip. Once we have an end here and we climb that mountain, the next mountain's right there. So have that in mind of what we're doing for a day, a week, a year, 5 years, a legacy. And with your team, make sure you vividly tell them what that is. And then ask them to reflect back to you what they heard. Because sometimes our communication, we think we're very clear. But when we hear back, and we want to hear the and. So this is my dream. Allow people that love you and support you and get you to expand that dream. What's so wonderful about the human mind, when we plant those baby seeds, when we all rest at night, they germinate. All kinds of things happen at night.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that journal is right next to your bed, because as soon as you get up, you write down all those things that you heard. This past weekend, I heard when I was sleeping, nothing in my consciousness, but it was almost like my body released and said, if I could take my product and help myself first and
Mm-hmm.
many other ladies with mastectomies, what would be the ultimate? And I woke up with the ultimate. And it was like, whoa. But you have to know that we're planting those seeds. But not only are we planting the seeds for us, our job is to help continually keep that picture
Mm-hmm.
in front of our teams. And
Mm-hmm.
start with your team that, and believe me, ladies and gents, it's not necessarily your girlfriends, because you've already grown so much.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't understand we're all calculated risk takers. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not something we're raised with necessarily. We're really taught that, what are you going to do? You got to feed yourself, you got to feed your kids, you got to, we have all the got tos. I want to live in the possibilities. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trusting based on what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I will always feed myself. I'll always have a roof over my head. And my mission is to always have extra so that I can share. Because there
Mm-hmm.
were times in my life when I'd gone through my divorces that I had left everything. So
Yeah.
I really had to start over. But
Yeah.
again, humbling ourselves and really knowing what need versus want is.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to break a new, whether it's with a girlfriend, a husband, a religion. If anything is holding you back,
Mm-hmm.
God wants our light to be bright. He wants us to be on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we're created. So when you go back to my story, I went in one day, August 2022, and I was going in for my mammogram, and I was so excited. It was just a thing. Like, I knew my girlfriends every year.
Uh-huh.
And that night, I had 3 tumors on that mammogram. It took my breath. And being a nurse by trade, I immediately called the doctor, leave a message. And that was quite the system. You have to take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting. And they thought I might be stubborn. I was a squeaky wheel. But guess what? They expected me to be dead in 6 months. And for
Yep.
2.5 years, I didn't be looking dead. So it is a work in progress, right? But we're all fighting a cancer. Make that clear. As leaders, we open ourselves up to cancers, whether it's someone that is eating our thoughts,
Yes.
whether it's someone that's diminishing our value or our worth,
Yes.
somebody that we think a husband, a wife, a mom, that we're still trying to earn their respect.
Yes.
You know what? God bless them and progress them. That is not serving you to your highest good. And some of the best thing you can say is, thank you. Thank you for that information. I'm going to go and discern on that.
Mm-hmm.
And during that, you can decide, is that something that I really need to unpack? Because sometimes we have blind spots,
Mm-hmm.
but you really have to have the one or two people that you trust. And sometimes it's not the psychologist or the
Mm-hmm.
psychiatrist, because as a nurse and going through cancer, pills they think are the answer. Well, mine was back to the triad of health.
Yep.
My physical happened to be strong. My spirit was depleted and my emotional state was depleted.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to stop what I was doing. And one of the things I teach, and this is for leadership, for you, for life, is whether it's individual, we need to stop and reflect back to see what grooves are we falling in. Do we keep falling in the same trap? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
why in the world will we allow ourselves to do that?
Mm-hmm.
So look at those cycles
Mm-hmm.
that we continue with. We need to look for new paths. But the
Mm-hmm.
only way to do it is a little bit like Alcoholics Anonymous. I had to acknowledge that I'm a recovering codependent because I wanted to serve everyone. Why? I would like to tell you because God was calling me to it. No, he was not. It was that little girl that still was seeking approval, seeking to be loved, and
Mm-hmm.
seeking to be loved at any cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, many times in life,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't want to be here because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like I was enough.
And what you're bringing up, Rochelle, I really want to unpack a little bit because this, number one, we are all a product of our environment. And the reason we fall into the same traps because it's easier to go to the known than the unknown, number one. So, that's why a lot of times, when people are exposed to the wrong things, sometimes they get to a point where they don't question whether it's wrong or right. They
That's
just do
right.
what they have been exposed
They
to
think it's
and
the
know how to
easiest.
handle
Mm-hmm.
because it is easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like knowing the bad thing that's out there, at the time that it's there.
And it
But
could be worse,
there's
right? It could be
huh?
the things we tell ourselves, though.
Yes,
It could be worse.
absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is that you talk about people in our environment, and as we grow and mature, the thing you have to recognize is some people are there for a reason, some people are there for a season, and some people are there for a lifetime. And being able to understand that those that are in support of you, that want to help you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, they're going to tell you when you mess up. They're going to tell you when you need to start over. They're going to tell you, you know what, that really wasn't right. And you need to go back and do it. Or, they're going to be the ones that are really honest with you. Those are ones that you want to keep those tribes close.
Absolutely.
And as I was sitting, it's interesting you're talking about this because I was talking to a client and we were talking about networking and social rings and all of that. And I think about my life and the number of people that I have continued to support
Mm-hmm.
over and over
Mm-hmm.
again. Even people who mistreated me,
Mm-hmm.
that came back and asked for something, I went on and helped them with whatever they were asking for and getting them what they needed, right? Because God said when they do it on one side, turn your cheek, let them do it on the other, but I got you, right? So I went on and did it anyway. But I would now I sit back and reflect on that and I go, you know what? I did what I know was right, but they were only there for a season.
That's correct.
They're not here to help me. They're not here to take me forward. And me wanting them to be there, me saying, oh, please, please, isn't working, right? It's just not working. And we have to recognize when those things happen and say, okay, I realize this part of this relationship is over and it's now transforming into a different kind of relationship, right? And we don't have to always let people go. We just have to change how we operate and how we're going to deal in that relationship because it's not the same, right?
It's always right to be kind, but you do not. What I have learned is for my own health and my own vitality, I have to love some people from a distance.
Exactly. And some of those people can even be your relatives. And
Amen.
That's the hardest. That is the hardest because we don't get to choose our family. Mm-mm. Our blood flows the way it blows and the way it flows, and we are related to whomever we're related to. We don't get to choose our family.
But as a leader,
we can love everybody.
We have to guard our mind.
That's right.
With a helmet, though.
That's right.
I mean, we have to filter everything that comes and goes through us because there's so many thoughts that are put into our brain that we're not even aware of. So if we stay really present in the moment, whether it's at work or whether it's at home or at Christmas, we have got to figure out, are they lifting me up or am I getting exhausted? If people exhaust you, step back, take a big, deep breath, let it out, and tap into that feeling. Right. And if you have some ugly employees, you have to do the same thing.
Exactly.
And the only way they get to keep on the team to play is if they're able to acknowledge their own stuff. I'm not there to raise anybody.
Right.
But we have to be able to be a mirror. And my job is a mirror. And so if
we're
you're
going to take a station break. And
okay.
When we come back, I want to talk more about that mirror. And I want to talk more about the importance of people being in our lives. We'll be right back.